Greetings. As promised in Chapter 5, we are going to be looking at larger sets of data and how to slice and dice that data and make it into information that we can use. So we take data, we're going to do some processes on it. Our output is going to be some information that we can use. So the first thing it asks you to do is some simple math. Your division is the smaller number. Divide the smaller number by the larger number to get your percentage. Copy that down. And then we want to do days on the market. Now, Excel stores dates as numbers. So we do not, we can do math with our dates. So take the sales date and subtract the listing date, and you will get days on the market. Now, the next thing we need to do before we do subtotals always is we need to sort the data. So Control-Shift down arrow, go home, sort and filter, custom sort. And the first value you want to sort on is by the city, A to Z. Add the level is going to be the selling agent. Add the level and it's going to be, I believe it's the selling price. That's not right. It must be, maybe it's the asking price. Sorry, it's listing date. Oldest and newest. Now we've sorted our data, you can see we'll easily be able to set up subtotals by city. So to do that, we're going to go to Data, Outline, and Subtotal. We want the change in city to give us a subtotal, and it's going to be the average of the selling price, the percent of asking price, and days on the market. We want our summary below the data, and we're going to replace any subtotals we may have done before. And indeed, by city, we have our average. Be sure and format these numbers. And all the way through, we can see our subtotals. Now, the beauty of this is you can close up or collapse the different ones and only get an average for each one. So open that back up and we can see our subtotals. And it tells us to go to Data and Outline and Group and auto outline it. And yes, we want to modify the existing outline. Look what it did. It gave us control over our columns as well. So it wants us to hide the listing and sale date, which that does that. And it wants us to continue to move the data up so that all we have are the averages. And now you can answer these questions and do a little bit of analysis on your data. Switching then to the sales data, now we're going to do a pivot chart. A pivot chart allows you, or pivot table, sorry, allows you to look at the data in many different ways very, very quickly. So in the subtotals, we can view the data and get the questions answered quickly. But then what if we want to look at it by selling agent and city? Or selling agent and selling price, so forth and so on. So select the first couple of rows, Control-Shift down arrow, insert pivot table from a range. It's going to go to a new worksheet. Be sure and rename it properly. I lost a point because I didn't put a space in. I put a space in, sorry. Then you're going to name your table, pivot table, name it. I don't remember what the name is, but you have your instructions there. Now, it wants us to put the city in rows. Notice the cities now. We're looking at the data by city. And the selling agent in columns. So then we can look at the by city and each agent. The asking price and the selling price are going to be our values. We want to change those to averages. So click on it, value field settings, average, number format, accounting, 0 decimal places. So now we're looking at averages. Do the same thing with the selling price. So now this data is more meaningful. We want to look at what the agent did in Alpine and the various cities. Now, to go back to that, now quickly we decided we want to look at it by selling agent and then by city. So all we have to do is switch the rows and columns. There you have it. Very quick. Now, if I wanted to look at a chart of this data, we're told to make another pivot table out of the sales data. So we'll do that. Insert, pivot table from range, new worksheet to be renamed selling. And rename your pivot table. And there we have it. Now the next thing we're going to do is to change this to an average again. It wants us to format it. You can do it one of two ways, through the value field setting or just highlight it and format it. Now here's where we're going to insert a pivot chart. Insert, pivot chart, and we want clustered column. Put that on a new sheet, name it correctly, and this is what's cool. You can now look at your chart and actually compare the cities by filtering it right on the chart. So we want to see Alpine but not American Fork. So if we want to just see 3, there we go. Don't save it that way, but that's how you do a chart and how easy it is to change the perspective of our data from one way to the other. It's great for working with large sets of data. I hope you can find a way to use this within your own jobs. If you have questions or problems, be sure and let me know. Have a great day.